Hello, hockey fans. The Minnesota Hockey Connection is on the air. We're on the air for the next half hour. I'm Kenny Gallagher, along with Jerry Burrow. And Jerry, a lot to talk about. The NHL took their All-Star break, and I'm of the old school. I like the All-Star game East versus West, not this four-game format. Who won the game? I don't know.
The Metropolitan team, 3-on-3.
Who are they?
That's like Philadelphia, New York Rangers, New York Islanders.
Yeah, ask somebody in L.A., who's in the Metropolitan Division? East versus West showcase the best players in the NHL, but
what about 3-on-3? No 3-on-3?
That's not hockey.
5-on-5?
That's boot hockey. That's broom ball.
Okay.
Play hockey.
Yeah, but then you're saying let's check. Well, you don't play hockey. They don't check during the All-Star game.
Of course. Let's play hockey. Fights.
All right.
Checks.
Start out, fight first, drop the gloves.
There you go. Let's get Stewie in there.
Yeah.
Play the game.
There you go.
Again, it's a showcase of the best players. I like the old format. I like the East Division versus the West Division. And
I say the same thing.
It's just
check and everything. Make it real.
Well,
and if you're worried about injuries, then don't have it.
Yeah, well, again, listen. They don't have a pitching derby. They have a home run derby. It's all about scoring. It's all about offense. Pick your sport: football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Showcase the best players. Let them play hockey. Yeah, you don't check as much.
Yeah, I can't watch any of these All-Star games anymore.
No, it's getting silly.
I don't care what sport. Just can't watch it.
But for the record, the Metropolitan Division defeated the Pacific Division 4-3 in the NHL All-Star game. The Wayne Simmons scored the winning goal and won the MVP award. Wayne Gretzky served as their coach.
Right.
Must have been for the Metropolitan team.
Right.
After Blue Jackets head coach John Tortorella declined to attend All-Star Weekend to tend to his family's sick dog.
All right, John. Priorities.
That's off of our news source, Jerry.
Priorities.
I might stay home to tend to my sick dog if he was really sick, but I thought that was a little.
We're not going to pay you if you're gone.
Whatever happened he declined for personal reasons.
Oh, why? Yeah.
Now we got to specify it was his sick dog.
Well, it's just like injuries. They just say lower or upper body or.
There was a discussion online about that, and the thought was that they do this to protect the player when he comes back from
because they're going to go after that. But players
targeting the knee. If
that
they say
word gets out pretty fast.
Yeah.
But
is that the reason that they're vague?
I don't know.
Or they just?
I've heard that too, but I don't know. It seems kind of. But then again, if you have a bad wrist and they're slashing it, maybe it is.
Again, the NHL All-Star Game is come and gone, and we're happy with that because we can resume regular hockey play, and we've got a very hot team here in the Minnesota Wild.
Wow.
The Minnesota Wild.
We ended up with 2 victories there at the end, one in Dallas and back home against St. Louis. So.
That game in Dallas, that win in Dallas was awesome.
It came back, and Stewart gets the shootout goal, final.
In that game,
on the 5th round,
he was asked about the franchise point streak, a record 13 games. The Minnesota Wild, when they beat Dallas, that was their 13th consecutive road game with a point or more.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
And when he was asked to somebody, he says, "Well, I didn't know that." He said, "I'm glad you brought that up." He says, "We just go into everyone's barn and try to play our best hockey." And then the Wild played the Blues on the game prior. What was it? Thursday, the 26th, prior to the All-Star Weekend. And the headline was "Wild Pound Blues."
Yep.
After that game, 5-1, even the analyst for NBC Sports Network, Jeremy Roenick, and who's the other guy? Jones. They both said that this was a 5-1 whooping.
Yep.
That wasn't. There was no empty net goals in that.
But St. Louis has been having problems lately. And a lot of people are saying, too, that maybe if St. Louis lost that game, that Hitchcock, their coach, might be gone, and Yo would be.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up because there's kind of like this, what do you call it, this interim thing going on where Hitchcock is apparently going to step down after the season.
Right.
And then Mike Yo will, I've never heard of anything like that. Mike Yo will take over.
Right.
After Hitchcock completes this season.
Right.
Well, how do the players respond to that?
Who knows?
Well, I think it's quite apparent. St. Louis, they what was the deal I read? They had lost like 4 out of their last 5 games, and
yeah, it'll be different. The players, I mean, but Yo, is he holding back now and waiting till next season? You know, who knows?
They did lose their captain when Backus jetsoned to Boston.
Right. I don't know if that was a good move or not.
Yeah. So again, the Minnesota Wild playing real good hockey. The All-Star game is come and gone. The Wild will play next Tuesday at Edmonton. They have a 4-game road trip at Edmonton, Wednesday at Calgary, Saturday at Vancouver, and then next Tuesday, the 7th of February, at Winnipeg. Then they come home for a 8-game road stand. Or I'm sorry, 8-game homestand.
Yeah.
An 8-game homestand.
That's a long time.
Starting February 8th.
Well, they get rested up a little bit that way.
It starts with Chicago on February 8th and ends with Los Angeles on the 27th. But they do play Chicago twice in that homestand.
Right. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I hope this break doesn't slow their mold down, you know, because they were playing good. And they go on the road now.
You know, this is they're in first place in the Western Conference, but you look at the Eastern Conference. Can the Wild stack up to the Pittsburghs and
Washington's playing real good. Montreal with Price back is doing real good. You know, there's a lot of good teams over there on the East side. It used to be just the opposite. Now it's changing over where, hey, the East is a lot better than the West.
Pittsburgh, defending Cup champs, they haven't seemed to lost a beat at all.
No, that's another team like Chicago. You know, year in year out, they lose top players, and all of a sudden they still come back and they compete for the championship.
You know, I feel good about this Wild team. They're playing awesome. They have the new head coach in Bruce Boudreau. His knock was his playoff record.
Right.
But maybe, just maybe, this is the year that he can put that to rest and advance to the finals.
Well, right now it looks like almost for sure they're going to make the playoffs. But, boy, there's some players, though, that have slowed down big time, you know, and they have to pick it up again.
Charlie Coyle.
And that's number 1.
Zach Parise.
Zach, I'm wondering if he's like that Besser for North Dakota in college that... You know, he was one of the best players in college hockey last year, and he's been injured, and they're just not saying how bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was a wrist hand injury.
Did you see the plus-minus rating of all NHL players? Ryan Suter, number 1.
Right.
Zucker's tied for 2nd.
That's amazing with Zucker.
Granlund, Koivu. And there was one other player in the maybe Haula in the top 5. Or 5 Wild players in the top 10 in the league.
That's amazing. So, hey, they got to keep that up. They got to get a little better, I think, on the power play. But Pominville, Parise, Coyle has to pick it up.
Pominville's had a little flash and dash lately.
But he'll get a goal, but he'll turn over the puck or make a bad pass or something like that, and he'll cause the goals.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen lately, too, so...
Well, I guess I'm not too worried because they do have the 4 solid lines, their defensive core every night.
And the number 1 thing is Dubnyk.
And I was just going to say in goaltending with Dubnyk. And right now it's a formula that's working real well, and we're going to keep our fingers crossed that there's a cup at the end of the day for this Wild team.
Right.
Not that kind of cup.
Right.
The one you hoist.
Oh, like the North Star Cup, College Cup.
What did I hear?
UMD finally hoisted it.
It's made out of wood?
It doesn't look like it. It's a big round thing. But they hoisted it.
For the last time.
For the first time and the last time any college will do it.
The last time that they'll have a North Star. You know, this came out of nowhere that this was the final North Star College Cup. This is a Minnesota Gophers tournament. This is their what they put on, and a lot of people were upset, me included, that there was no television coverage. But
Oh,
FSN
many.
and the Minnesota Gophers, rather, FSN is obligated to show just the Gopher games in this tournament. Well, the Bulldogs and St. Cloud were in the championship game, hence FSN was not obligated to air the program. Here's my question. Why is it, Jerry, that on our charter channels, we have a channel for St. Cloud hockey, we have a channel for MSU hockey,
Right.
we have FSN that carries every Gopher game, but UMD is stuck with this Channel 9, and I'm not saying anything about Zach or the
It's just not
staff that-
high def.
but
It's terrible
why
picture.
doesn't the #1 hockey program in the nation have their own channel, like St. Cloud,
Right.
MSU?
I don't know. Gotta ask them sometimes.
I mean, they have a dedicated channel on Charter.
And why is it that the North Star Cup, why didn't they promote it better? Wouldn't you think to promote it better if, hey, Fox Sports North does the Gopher games, why don't they do this whole tournament set up every year that way? Why don't they split the money so it's worth having it there instead of the Gophers taking all the money? I mean, there's just too much greed going on in these events sometimes where just one team benefits at the most.
Well, there was discussion today on KDAL's Monday Morning Sports Talk about maybe moving the tournament to a different time of the year. Thanksgiving was one that came up that time,
But there has to be a lot more than that because they got to, first of all, split the money. Then why should the Gophers be in it every year? Because they're going to bring the fans, or
you know what? Here's a simple solution. Have the Gophers keep the North Star College Cup and just have them schedule a Minnesota team year after year. Just play a game.
yeah,
The winner gets the cup.
there you go.
The game's on TV.
Right?
Everyone's happy.
Yeah, they have icebreaker tournaments. They have all this stuff.
Just have your North Star College Cup with Minnesota being the host, and every year rotate. Have Mankato, St. Cloud, UMD.
Well, what they could do too is drop the Gophers, have the other 4 teams.
Well, it's the Gophers tournament.
Yeah, but we can just kick them out now and start their own cup.
Well, who's starting? What is it? The NCHC, the Big Ten that's going to run it?
It'll
or-
just the Big Ten's out now.
Okay,
because
so
Gophers
NCAA
are out. So it'll be the WCHA and the NCHC, and then switch to their home rinks every year. So every 4 years, each team gets it.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So the Minnesota teams get to play each other.
Right.
It just became a mess when all these teams went to different conferences. And it was just so, why break something that's worked so good? But money. Big Ten Network, Gophers have to take it.
I'll tell you, there was a fantastic game at Madison Square Garden. The Wisconsin Badgers and Ohio State, part of this Super Saturday that was held at Madison Square Garden. You had Rutgers, and I don't know how Wisconsin and Ohio State get into this, but it was a great game. Ohio State they scored 2 quick goals late in the game to tie the game, and then Wisconsin won it in overtime. And Wisconsin has really turned things around this year.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're a lot better team. They're not a real great team, but they're a lot better team than they have been the last few years. Another thing was kind of funny I learned this week down at the North Star Cup. I was talking to a reporter for the Star Tribune, and she was saying that they stopped having a regular beat writer for the Gophers. I said, what? How could that be? So they don't have a regular writer for each game.
for Gopher hockey.
Yeah.
Not Gopher sports, you're saying?
No,
Just-
Gopher hockey.
Really?
That's still weird.
Well,
Here's
yeah,
another-
it's the state of
I mean,
hockey.
It's supposed to be the #1 program in the state, and that
Yeah.
not having a wow.
Well, again, Gopher,
Something's going on
Gopher
down
fans,
there.
how's that Big Ten conference working for you? It ruined a good thing. It really did. But that's the way it's going. And
And a lot of people are talking too about like the Final Five tournament we always have at the XL. You couldn't get a seat down there last few years, you
Sure.
know, when it ran it, and now that's why they're stopping all these tournaments at the end of the year. Now the Gophers are going to stop the Big Ten tournament at Joe Louis Arena and the XL now. They're not. They're going to go to probably to their home rinks or some close rink.
You know, I have issues with this North Star College Cup. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but if this is the Gophers tournament, why is this being played at XL? Why
Right.
isn't it at Mariucci?
All right. Maybe they thought they can get more people, like the Final Five, where they can get 18, 19,000 in there.
Well,
Who knows?
All
Who
right.
knows?
okay, the UMD Bulldogs beat St. Cloud 2-1 in overtime on Saturday in the championship of the North Star College Cup in St. Paul at XL Energy Center. UMD freshman goalie Hunter Miska, the tournament MVP, 31 saves in that game against St. Cloud. UMD senior wing Kyle Osterberg scored the game-winning goal, again giving UMD the North Star College Cup.
Osterberg, I don't know how he does it. You don't see him too much. You don't notice him too much in the game a lot of times. But he'll come out in these overtime games he'll score the winning goal. It's pretty neat.
Maybe they'll have to nickname him Clutch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
OT.
There you go.
Osterberg.
And then the Gophers went on to beat Bemidji State. Do they call that the third place game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 4-0. And that was on Fox Sports North because...
You know, I just, boy, oh boy, this is too bad. But we're back to normal. UMD will host Nebraska Omaha this weekend. The UMD women are playing very well. They're going to host North Dakota this weekend as well. Saturday is Cram the Am, $1 to get in this Saturday for women's hockey. Or if you bring a perishable, non-perishable food item, maybe a box of spaghetti, can of soup, you can get in with your non-perishable food item. And Jerry, the Bulldogs playing Nebraska Omaha, Jake Randolph, his dad Mike, Duluth East is down playing Elk River, and what they did is they changed the time of the game so Mike can get back and watch his son. And now this is something that Mike worked out with the coach of Elk River.
Well, the AD. I went to the AD and told him you better want to give a call down there because they did change it, but it didn't make any sense. Why change from 7 o'clock to 5 o'clock when the game won't be open until 7? He'll miss the game driving home.
So originally it was scheduled for 7.
7, and they moved it to 5, which makes no sense.
Right.
And so I've been trying. I talked to the coach, and he never got back. So,
but now
I went to the AD at East, and he, because of last year, we did something for Gordy Roberts, who was then the coach of Elk River. He wanted to play in that outdoor game, alumni game.
Yeah.
So he had to get down there. So they switched the playoff games.
Okay, so this Saturday, Duluth East at Elk River, and now it's 3 p.m.
Right.
Yeah.
3 p.m. And hopefully it's not snowing. He can get back. He'll get back right at game time, probably.
Yeah.
Pretty close. Mm-hmm. He might miss a few minutes of the first period.
So are we, is it safe to say that the Bulldogs should continue their winning ways, or will we see a letdown? I mean, keep in mind, this is a team that got swept by Colorado College 2 weeks ago.
If they're healthy, I think they have to keep going what they've been doing.
Well, here's what this team needs to do, the Bulldogs. Schedule all their games away from Amsoil Arena.
They're like the Wild?
They're 8-1 on the road.
They're like the Wild.
Yeah.
They go on the road, they get points.
So just stay away and keep winning.
That's right. They had a hard time with St. Cloud State and Colorado College.
How many times has UMD and St. Cloud played in the last 2-3 years?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah. Well, this will be neat. Plus, that, surprise team in the the National Collegiate Conference, Hockey Conference, Western Michigan. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
They're number 4 in the pairwise.
They scare me. And the Bulldogs have to play.
They got to play them at the end of the year before the first playoff round.
Yeah, the final at Western Michigan on March 3rd and 4th.
Where do they come from? I
think it's, where are they based?
Then Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo?
Yeah.
All right.
So that's another team now we have to worry about. Miami's, like always, they're starting to come up now. They're playing a lot better hockey than the first half. So really, there's a lot of teams that are good. And Colorado College, they're at the bottom of the league, but hey, they gave UMD all they can handle when they were in town first of the year.
They sure did.
So there's no easy weekend here. So they only got, what, 4 more series before the playoffs?
Now, I think I said the Bulldogs were swept by Colorado College.
No.
They split that series.
Right.
Yep.
So, oh boy.
I think one of them went into overtime, though.
Yep.
The game that we won.
That was, Peon scored.
A lot of hockey going on, of course. The Wild back to play after the All-Star break. UMD Bulldogs riding the wave, #1 in the nation in both pairwise and the coaches poll. The UMD women playing very well. The College of St. Scholastica had a split at Aurora. They will take on Concordia of Wisconsin this weekend. And Concordia did something that I thought was quite amazing. They swept St. Norbert in a home-and-home series. And I believe Concordia of Wisconsin, I believe they're based in Rhinelander, if I'm not mistaken.
There's Concordias everywhere, aren't there?
Well, that's the thing. There are.
There's one up by Moorhead. There's one down in the cities. There's one over in Wisconsin.
So the Saints, you can catch Saints hockey, Scholastica, at Mars Lakeview Arena this weekend. Concordia comes to town, and the Saints are currently in 3rd place, just 2 points behind 2nd place St. Norbert. So these games are huge for St. Scholastica. And then, of course, Jerry, we've got high school hockey.
Yep. Hey, I might have something on, a friend of mine said, check this out. I looked on the computer. We're talking about Hockey Day Minnesota just happened in Stillwater, another great event. It was like Duluth. I mean, great venue, great site. I mean, great view, a lot of people, full house, I mean. But you're asking about where it's going to be next year. There's a chance it might be in Bemidji. They had a city council meeting back in the spring. I found out and I looked it up, and they did. They were talking about Hockey Day Minnesota.
Well, I think it'd be a great location.
And it's going to be right by the college, the Stanford Center, where they play the college games, and it's going to be right by the water.
Yeah.
On the South Shore, they call it.
Sure.
And if they have to, they can go inside right there. And then they're thinking of trying to get the Gophers and Bemidji State to play that late afternoon up there.
Oh, nice.
So they can have Fox Sports can do it all.
Yeah.
They should have done that in Duluth.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Having the college game right there at Amsoil.
Yeah, I know.
Hockey Day Minnesota, Hey,
you got to try to work out every team's schedule.
But the thing is, Duluth only had a half a year to get this because some other town went down at the
backed
area.
out, or who was it?
I forget, but they have to go fast on this.
Whoa! So there was somebody else in line to do this,
right?
And then Duluth was
usually you got over a year planning.
Well, look into that. Find out more details on that. I'm kind of curious who it was that was going to host it.
I forget now. But Bemidji, so they're talking. I mean, at least they talked about. So maybe that's the team.
Well, I think it'd be fantastic.
So
yeah,
it makes sense too, going back north.
Yeah, they got a guy up there they can feature. What's his name? Paul Bunyan?
Ooh, he can chop some ice right away.
There you go. Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox. A great theme for Hockey Day Minnesota. And again, high school hockey, Duluth East seems to be playing good hockey at the right time of the year.
Very well. They're missing some couple key players, but they're still playing real good. So he's throwing a lot of players out there, and they're getting a lot of time. But this week is their big game of the year in regular season. They got to go down on Saturday and play Elk River. Elk River's number 3, but this is for the top seed. If East can beat them, I think they have a good chance to get the top seed, but they have to finish the year, winning. They got Cloquet and they got Lakeville South and Maple Grove, 3 big games. Then they got, a couple of easier teams.
Bloomington Jefferson.
Yeah, they haven't been playing good lately, so they should be able to win that. But you never know; they're high school kids.
As a matter of fact, Duluth East's final 6 games, only 1 is at Heritage.
Superior.
I'm sorry, 5. Of their final 5 games, only 1 is at Heritage Maple Grove.
No, Superior, isn't it? Where they have Superior.
Jer, of their final 5 games, they only have 1 at home.
Okay.
They're at Elk River, Cloquet-Esco, Bloomington Jefferson, Home against Maple Grove and at Lakeville. So
Okay, now say final 6 games. No.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, but hey, they've always been a road team. He likes going on the road.
Yeah.
It's
Pressure's
amazing.
off.
No other team in the state
The
will
moms
travel
and dads
like
aren't
that.
in the stands.
I mean, no, they follow.
Okay.
They travel. These parents. It's amazing.
So Duluth East, let's see here, 4, 5, 6, 7 of their past 7 games. They've won 6 of them. And one of those was that 5-0 win over Grand Rapids.
Right. So, I mean, they haven't lost in their section games with any of the teams yet, and they only have the Elk River and Cloquet again. So, if they, like I say, if they can beat these 2 teams, I think it's good, very good chance they'll get the number 1 seed because they haven't lost a section game. So that'd be good.
So Duluth East will play at Anoka this Tuesday. Thursday, they will host Superior at Heritage Sports Center. And then this Saturday, Jer, at Elk River, 3 o'clock.
Right. That's the big one. In Elk River, I have them at number, let's see, what do I have? Number 5 this week. So it's a big game. And another, Edina and Eden Prairie will be playing this week on next Saturday. And that's number 1 team, Eden Prairie, and number 3 I have Edina. So that's a big game.
Well, Edina's been playing well.
Yeah, this last week they, who do they beat?
Centennial?
Centennial 7-3. I mean, they killed them.
Minnetonka?
And Tonka 6-3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you're getting to know high school hockey.
Well, I pay attention to your posts.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
At least there's one person, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I learn a lot from you.
And if anyone else wants to do it, just go to MinnesotaHockeyConnection.com.
Yeah. Well, let's go over the rankings. Class
Okay.
A, Class AA. Jerry puts together the rankings, and like you said, you can check those out at MinnesotaHockeyConnection.com. And, what do you got?
Okay, real fast. Class A, Hermantown number 1, Breck number 2, Delano number 3, St. Paul Academy number 4, Montemita number 5, Alexandria number 6, East Grand Forks number 7, St. Cloud Cathedral number 8, Orono number 9, and Minnehaha Academy number 10. And I'll go right over to Class AA. Eden Prairie number 1, Holy Family Catholic number 2, Edina number 3, Stillwater number 4, Elk River number 5, Centennial number 6, Hill Murray number 7, Lakeville North number 8, St. Thomas Academy number 9, and Grand Rapids number 10.
Wow, Elk River number 5, and
Yep.
Duluth East and Elk River play this Saturday.
And there's less than 3 weeks left in the regular season.
Jeez.
Playoffs start already.
Wow.
Just around the corner.
We come to the end of the program. That was one of the fastest shows I've ever been a part of. I don't know what happened to the time, but it's gone. You can look for us online, MinnesotaHockeyConnection.com. Go to our Facebook page, please, and like us there. And for PACT-TV, we want to thank them for producing this show. PACT-TV, located in City Hall in downtown Duluth. And Jared, that's it. We'll be back here next week to drop the puck.
Yeah, see you at the rink.